lads, I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for joining my latest Stampin' Up demonstration. I'm going to show you how I created this lovely name banner. It's very, very simple to construct and make, and obviously you can use any colour, and obviously you don't have to call everybody Sandra. You can use whatever name you want. I'm just going to show you how to create one of the banners, and then obviously you would just multiply the process to fit whatever name you want. And then I'll quickly show you how to attach the ribbons. Okay, right, off we go. I'll just move that to one side. So I used for my base very vanilla cardstock. Obviously you can use whatever colour combination suits you. I'm using very vanilla, and I'm using a new ink pad, which is new to me, which is Crumb Cake, which is that lovely brown colour. It's beautiful colour, beautiful Crumb Cake. So that is the colour that we're going to use throughout. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the colour and the supplies quite simple to show that you don't need to have loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. So the stamp that we're going to be using is from the Beautiful Banners collection. It's stunning, beautiful. You've got a sentiment, you've got borders, you've got all sorts going on in this stamp set. More ones there. So excited for you to tie the knot. So it could be used for wedding. That you've got a sentiment that says hello baby. You've got a thank you sentiment, and you've got a 'Tis love that makes the world go round by Lewis Carroll. Another sentiment, or you can just use it as I am to create a lovely banner. So we're going to select the large banner stamp, which is this one. And I'm using quite a large block. I'm just going to make sure I get it fairly straight by using my glass grid. Oh, I forgot that I've got it upside down. What an Anna. That way. That way. There we go. Oh, that doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut it out anyway. So then we're just going to nicely ink this up with the Crumb Cake ink. And then we're going to go in and stamp. Just make sure I'm in shot. And I'm just going to stamp towards the corner of the cardstock so that I don't waste it. And just press and gently hold. And then carefully remove the stamp, and you've got your lovely image. I'm just going to quickly clean my stamp using the stamp scrub. And clean on one side and dry with the next. I'm trying to move carefully because for some reason my camera keeps going blurry. Right, so we'll remove that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a letter. We'll do a letter, let me think, who else can I send one to? We'll do a letter T for argument's sake, and this is the brushwork alphabet, and you get all of these. You get lowercase and uppercase alphabet, and they are in clear, so you can see very, very clearly where you're stamping without problem. So I'm going to select the T. And again, I'm going to use my grid mat to make sure it's relatively straight. Just helps you, especially if you're a new stamper like me. Then I'm going to ink up my stamp again with the Crumb Cake so that it all matches. And I'm just going to very carefully stamp that in the centre of that banner stamp, like so. Okay, now that's done. So now what I'm going to do is, just let that dry, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. This is I think I've got the gold one, yeah. And I'm going to very carefully, just let me make sure it's, that the brush is still damp. Yep, there we go. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to very carefully go over the letter with my Wink of Stella. just to give a little bit of glitter. Just a little bit of very subtle sparkle to that letter. Okay, and then I'm going to very carefully cut it out. I'm not using my trimmer. I'm not going right up to the edge of the image. I'm just cutting just shy of it, so that we don't spoil any of the stamped image. Okay. You can always go back in and retrim it by eye if you think it's a little bit wonky, which I wouldn't be surprised if mine is, because I'm not awfully good at cutting straight lines, to be honest. So I'll just move that to one side a minute and just hope that my camera's not going blurry. I need to check the settings. So I'm just going to go trim the edges of this. I'm just going to go in and cut that a little bit closer to the pattern because I'm way off. Oops. If you've got a good trimmer, you can use your trimmer to get a nice straight edge. There we go. And then cutting in the banner, one tip that I learned is if you cut up the centre first and then cut the sides, and it saves you trying to like cut round corners or cutting it wonky. So that's how I do it now, and that little tip does help me to cut a little bit neater. Just trim that slightly. I've just got a slightly squared off. There we go. So that's all nicely neatly trimmed now. So we've got our banner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the Stampin' Up sponge, and I'm just going to ink the edge. Just gives a nice, just a nice finish to the edges when you can't see the edge of the card. I think it does anyway. Just makes it look that little bit more professional. And I do love the effect that you get with the Stampin' Up sponges. It's really, really nice effect. So that's that. Now, what I did to decorate them was I came back in with the Petite Petals punch, selecting the same colour cardstock. So I've got some, I'll use this. I don't seem to have a scrap to hand, so I'll just have to use this. So I'm just going to punch 2 out. 1, 2. And then I'm going to use my, just my little piece of foam mat that I've got. First of all, sorry, I'm going to just gently flick over with my, back over with the sponge. I don't need to add any more ink on that sponge, just use what's already on it. Don't need any more. You don't need to reapply the ink for this. Okay. And I'll just apologise for my half-painted nails. I got bored halfway through doing them. Right, and then what you do is you get your perky tool or the round end of anything, a pen or a pencil will do, and just press in the middle. Just makes them flowers pop up slightly. And then I'm going to go back in with some of the Stampin' Up rhinestones. Just add a little sparkle to the middle, like so. I really, really like these. I'm going to have to get myself some more, because I'm using them. I just love them. I think they're just really awesome. And they just help the colours pop even more. You know, just add that little bit of extra interest. Right, so what I'm going to do before I stick my flowers on, we just need to punch 2 tiny holes. Now, if you don't have a single-handed punch like that, you could use a sharp tool in your mat. You could use your poker tool even. But I've got this little tool, so I'm going to use it. I'm just going to just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. 2 little holes at the top, 1 at each corner. like so. So you've got your 2 little holes there. Now I'm going to attach my flowers, and I'm going to use mini glue dots that I have just got in my last order, and they're brilliant. I've used quite a lot already, as you can see. So just to remove the little glue dot, attach it to the back of your flower, and then I'm having one here at the top corner of the banner, and I'm going to have another one at the bottom corner, like so. Okay, and then you would just get your ribbon. This is mine. It's a lovely gold one that I got as part of a Happy Mail for recruiting. And what I've done is I have gone in through one side, and I've put the ribbon, the loop of the ribbon round the back. The reason I haven't put it across the front is because if these holes aren't lined up exactly, then if you put your ribbon across the front, it's going to look crooked. So it's just easier to just have your ribbon round the back, and then just have your loops showing, loops showing where you string them together, if you get what I mean. Just try and get that through there. This is one of the things of growing my nails so that they look prettier. I find it more difficult to do detailed work with a bit of length on my nails, which is quite bizarre. Try and poke it through with my pokey tool. There we go. Obviously, if you've got a slightly fatter ribbon, you could make a slightly bigger hole. And that is basically all there is to it. Okay, and you would just continue the process until you've spelt your name. So if I just come back with the one that I made and re-show you, so you can remember how fantastic it looks, all strung together, like so. And that's what you can create, ladies. Very, very simple, very easy. You know, you can add to it if you want. If you've got leaves, you could add leaves. You could even attach lace on the back if you so desired. But if you're new to stamping or new to crafting, this is a very easy project to do. So I hope that's inspired you. I hope that you give it a try. And thank you for watching. Bye for now.